thanks for joining Sweet Tea and Tacos for this week. I'm Dave.
And I'm Jen.
And this week we're talking about cooking for families, cooking with a family, cooking if you've got kids. Like, there's a lot of different reasons why you'd want to do that. There's, the health reasons, the economic reasons, and that experience of just cooking and having the home-cooked meals. And we have older teens, so it's kind of different than when we were younger with the younger kids. And so we thought, you know what, let's bring in our friend Stephanie. And she's got a great perspective because of where she is in life with her kids. So let's welcome Stephanie.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. Welcome.
Well, I'm so glad to be here today. You can't see, but I am sipping on some sweet tea as we converse.
There you go. Yeah. We haven't made any today. We made some yesterday. So, Stephanie, start off, let's talk a little bit about your cooking journey and kind of how you started cooking first.
My cooking journey starts with when I got married, actually. I was not a cook. My mom was not a cook. The closest thing I ever had to a home cooked meal was a buffet line at Shoney's. So there was not much cooking going on in my house. So didn't learn much from her. God love her. She's great, but she just didn't cook.
Yeah, she is.
But my grandmother cooked, and I saw her cooking when I would go over to her house, and so that I remember the smells coming out of her kitchen, and like the simmering and the gas stove and baking cookies and all of the things that were going on as she was cooking. And so that's where it started. And then I didn't start actually cooking until I got married, and my mother-in-law gave me a cookbook of all the recipes that she liked to cook at that time. And so I was like, well, what better way to my husband's heart than the food he already knows about?
There you go.
That's where I got started.
Well, cool. How did, when you guys started having kids, how did that change things for you? Like, how did that continue?
When we started having kids, I actually started to make baby food and for my first daughter, because I had all the time in the world at that time. And so that was fun, just being able to research a little bit of ingredients that went together that were more on the fruity side and more of the maybe ingredients even that I wasn't even used to. So that was fun. Mm-hmm. But then we kept on having kids because now we have
So just as a disclaimer, how many kids do you have and kind of the age range?
We have 6 children, and they range from the age of 12 years old all the way down to 4 months old at the time.
4 months old?
Right now, yeah. So we have 2 girls and then 4 boys, yeah.
So that's one of the reasons we asked Stephanie to join us. If there's somebody who can cook and has 6 kids at that age group, we thought, Stephanie can probably give us some really good insights on how to do that.
Well, and also
Yes. Nobody
has any excuse, because if you can do it,
right,
anybody can. I mean,
well, thank you very much.
As busy as you are,
You're sweet. I love to cook, though. I have fully embraced it, and just having more kids. That has changed. Having kids, I don't get to maybe be quite as elaborate. Or I used to make spaghetti sauce from scratch, and now
cool.
I like one from the can, or it's not from a can; it's from the plastic bottle.
Well, hey, But like you said, we were talking the other day. That's one of those time savers. Just like, look. Okay, I've got to figure out some efficiencies somewhere. And, hey, this is a decent sauce. It's good price. No problem. I got 8 people to feed, so,
Right. This is kind of funny, a side note, that when talking about prices of food, I do have to pay attention to that a lot about what prices are, because, we can easily go through food just very quickly. But I used to, when I had more time, I used to shop like 3 different stores, and it was like my super bargain.
Yeah, I went through that phase too with coupons and
I
all
went
that.
through Kroger's got the meat, Kroger's got the cheese. I'm going to go to Walmart and hit the toilet paper.
Yeah, there used to be a place around here, a drugstore that's no longer, that got bought up by some other people, and she used to go in there and like they would pay her to leave. That was my joke, is that she would do so well with the coupons, and it's like, yeah, I made $20, you know.
Nice, that's fun. But yeah, so we have changed our menu and changed our convenience and the that sort of thing over the years. But
well, okay, so kind of along those lines, talk to us about how you shop. Like, how often do y'all go? Do you bulk buy? Do you go to regular grocery stores? Do you use these kind of warehouse type places, or what works the best for y'all?
We really shop 3 main different places. So we do the wholesale shopping, and I do the grocery store, and I do the box store. That I like. I also do the fresh like the open market,
Farmers market type.
The farmers marketplace. Yeah. I generally I get my meat from one place that I really like. I just feel like the meat tastes better there. And then I get my fresh vegetables at a certain place, and then I go and I'll get kind of like the fill-in, like the things in the cans and the bottles and that sort of thing. I might get that from another place. So just wherever the price point hits, or whatever I'm feeling like for the day and how much I want to travel around town. But we have a checklist, and usually I put the first letter of the place that I feel like you should get that place. If Brandon's going shopping, he knows, okay, I need to get cheese from this place. And I am brand specific on some things. I haven't wavered.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think we're that way too.
But I really do mostly buy in bulk. To try to minimize as many shopping trips as possible. And then when I do buy in bulk, when I'm buying meat or anything like that, I try to cook it in bulk as well. And then I freeze it after I've cooked it. So I can just pull it from the refrigerator and then go from there.
When you freeze it, do you freeze it like in like small, like what sizes? Do you freeze it all in one batch? Do you freeze the smaller amounts, or?
Yeah, I break it into the serving sizes that we use for our meals. So that might look a little different for you guys.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Us, it's generally about, I just get the freezer bags and for convenience, and put them in that. So I can just fill it out. And I do it about 2 pounds, I guess, in each little bag.
Cool. So, okay.
I was just going to say, I think that's a great idea. I've really never thought about doing that with meat, cooking meat.
The closest thing we'll get to that is like, to save time, I'll get a rotisserie chicken. So if we're making something with chicken in it, maybe we'll do a quick chicken pie or a quick whatever, and I'll use a rotisserie chicken. And I usually, we break that down into, white meat, dark meat, and then leftover pieces. And usually that goes to the dog, like skins and all that rigmarole. And then, but yeah, no, we haven't really like cooked a whole batch of chicken, and we gotta do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like to grill it. I like to go ahead and shred it, and just kind of go ahead and have it.
Yeah.
I mean, detailed prep, not just like cooked.
Right.
And some meals I like dark meat, and some meals I like just the white meat, and just keep it mixed up like that.
So as far as the types of things you're cooking, now, one of the things we have is you kind of have stereotypical family food, and that's kind of, I think, maybe people think back on the casseroles or pot roasts or, just, pasta and meat sauce, which is good, but, that's, do you all kind of do stereotypical food? Or I kind of think of you as somebody that maybe cooks things that you wouldn't think are stereotypical kid food.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy casserole every now and then, but generally I like to keep my pantry kind of its own grocery store. So I feel like I can just go shop at my own little mini grocery store in the pantry, and then go pick from what I want and just kind of whip together a meal. The other day we had ramen bowls, and so I made some like it was the 10-cent pack of ramen. We boiled that, and then but I added the veggies and added some fish to that, and it turned out really good. And my kids generally enjoy what I make. So the one meal that they haven't enjoyed and they let me know it was oatmeal. I got completely slammed about oatmeal.
Yeah, that's kind of I think a theme here too. There's not a bunch of oat. I mean, maybe once we can pull it off, but you try to pull out that other oatmeal packet on a school day, and they just like, nope, not gonna do it. No.
I think generally my meals are based maybe in a cream sauce or just the tomato sauce, like a spaghetti, what you would think of as a spaghetti sauce or that sort of thing too. So
we had the one bite rule,
Well, that was actually something that our pediatrician recommended.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He said, make them at least taste one bite. They can't get dismissed from the table unless they at least try it. So
how do you do that with your kids?
So I'm a blanket. You must eat. You must eat what's on your plates, or you will go hungry. I'm not very wavering in that because I also know that what my kids have eaten in the past, and I do try to cook to their palate. But
right, that's the other thing you were saying. You were telling me the other day. It's like, look, son, I know what you like. I will cook it. Trust me.
Oh. Yeah. My son, he tried to tell me that he didn't want to eat this ramen bowl, and I was like, son, you are gonna have to just believe that I can make good food. You tell me all the time that this was the best meal you've ever had, and you just need to believe me and try this. And he ended up loving it. He had never eaten the salmon before.
Well, that's cool. That's good. And how old is he?
He is 8.
See, that's great.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I know our kids did not eat ramen, anything. Never ate.
No, I was going to say along those same lines is that I just always present them with different kinds of foods. So like if we're having Brussels sprouts or if we're having French fries, I know he's going to love French fries. But like if I never present a child with different foods, then they're absolutely never going to eat it. But if I present them with some food.
Yeah, our kids actually love Brussels sprouts. And I think that's a very polarizing vegetable, if there is one. You get a lot of people, Brussels sprouts, I hate them. But, our kids love them. And they've never had an issue with that.
You have to know how to cook them.
That is true. They like the way David cooks them, but
she does it the exact same way.
I'll do it the exact same way, but they say, "Oh, Daddy's tastes better."
Oh, that's hilarious.
But when
you don't put enough love into it. You need more love.
I don't know. When we first got married, before we had kids, we were like, okay, we're never gonna cut the crust off of bread for sandwiches. Our kids are not gonna, eat dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets and all this. And you do have to make some.
We went through some phases,
One of our children in particular is a lot more. He was a lot more carb sort of centric, but I would say overall they have pretty varied tastes. I mean, when we go to restaurants, they're like wanting to order the lamb rack and stuff.
Yeah. So. Oh, yeah. So like I have to save up to take our daughter to sushi because she will break us. So it's like, I want one of all of these things, It's like, do you know what it is? I have no idea, Hey, whatever.
That's a good problem, I guess.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Stephanie. You mentioned, pre-cooking the chicken and meat and things like that. Do you go ahead and ever make like whole meals? I mean, like it would probably be more like casseroles and things like lasagna. But I mean, do you kind of just say, I'm going to take a day and do a bunch of cooking and kind of batch cook and freeze it, or you just kind of take it more day by day?
I usually take it more day by day. I am a stay-at-home mom, so I kind of have that more of a luxury of being able to start cooking whenever I need to start cooking in the day. And so freezing, I might have had a phase where I did that, and when it was a lot more casserole things. But I also really I just enjoy cooking. Yeah. So cooking is kind of my 5 o'clock drive home because I get to transition from the day into the evening, and I kind of my zone and where I can go, and the kids are entertaining themselves at that point. And so, yes, I have done some of that, but I'm more of a, and because we just have to make so much, if I was to,
Right.
I would really spend all day making a lot.
Yeah, I
of
think
food.
the most that we do is we'll do, for instance, we do a lot of soups. And we'll do a soup or a chili, especially in the wintertime, where we'll cook that on a Monday, have that Tuesday, and do something else Wednesday. And especially during the school year when the kids are going 90 to nothing, that saves us that day in the kitchen on Tuesday.
Yeah, but we rarely get to the point where we ever can
we can't get,
cook and freeze anything.
no, we don't get any further ahead than
Plus,
that.
we don't really have a freezer space.
No.
Nice.
So what about your kids? Do they help you in the kitchen? How do you include them?
That's a great question. I really started to include them in my cooking when I make a chicken and dumplings, and so I'd make the dumplings from scratch, and I would have extra or just separate some of that dough, and they would just start playing with it and mold it and playing with it like Play-Doh. So that's been fun. But my oldest daughter, she really likes to bake. And now I really like to cook, and I feel like there's a difference between like cooking and baking.
Is, yeah.
I am not a baker. I'm just not. I don't have that. I like the, ingredients you can just play with and put as much in. Measuring and following directions to the T is not my.
It's not mine either.
No, it's not.
But my daughter, she's the oldest one, and she really does enjoy following it to the T, because she knows exactly what she's supposed to do, and she can, level off the flour and bake some cookies. So she's made several cakes and brownies from the brownie mix, and bakes cookies a lot of. So anyway, she has fun with it.
That's cool. Yeah, we've enjoyed. It's interesting. It's neat to see them have that success when they get in there. Then they serve it, and people like it, and they're like, they get really proud of what they've done, and it's accomplishment, and it empowers them. Yeah.
And they all know how to make their own fried egg.
There you go. Everybody's different, right?
They can be self-sufficient in the mornings. Yes, because I don't want to make everybody their own egg in the morning.
Well, that's good. I think we need to try. We just need a couple more pans, because Jennifer likes hers a certain point, and Helen likes hers a certain point. So I never can get them just right in the same pan. So
no, that's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
This kind of ties into what David and I were talking about on a recent podcast that we did about Mother's Day. We mentioned certain things that we remembered our mother's cooking, that were kind of our favorites. And so what do you think your kids might remember, years from now, or when they come home, for holidays and things? What will they say? Hey, Mom, will you please make so-and-so? Do they have some favorites?
Interesting. Yes. They really like my cream sauce, like pasta cream sauce. So I make kind of
like an Alfredo.
Whipping cream, garlic, and just putting that over some chicken. And even like that can kind of play over into my daughter's favorite potato soup, because I always put some whipping cream in there.
You go.
So it's like the heavy whipping cream is probably going to be something that either they regret knowing about because they gain 5 pounds every time they put that in their basket, or they're going to love it because they're going to be like, ooh, mom needs to make this.
We've got a lot of butter in our fridge.
Oh, a lot of butter.
We use a lot of butter. Yeah.
We probably need to transition to more olive oil.
We use a lot of that too. Well, cool. Well, thank you for joining us, Stephanie. We really appreciate it.
Oh, it was a blast. Thanks so much for having me.
And we hope the listeners have enjoyed it and got something out of that, and maybe you learned a thing or two about how to help be a little more efficient in their kitchen and cook with kids and bring them in, and you can still do it even when you have 6 kids or 2, so cool. Well, thank you very much again.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jen.
And Stephanie.
Bye, everyone.